to give a mid-season update here on the, let's say, solar-powered Automower that I have, the Husqvarna 315X that's over on the side yard there, that's powered by this Generark 1 kWh battery that is charged by these two solar panels. So as I mentioned before in the initial overview, that these solar panels are each rated for 100 watts, but when you combine them together, typically you get maybe 120 watts or so peak input power to the battery to charge it. If I just do one of them, I get maybe like 80 or 90 watts depending on the sunlight. Again, that's still not bad. I can charge most of the battery within a day. One thing to watch out for with these particular units, and I assume that others that look like this, like the Jackery units for example, have the same problem, and the issue is that this cover here, this kind of plastic cover, this clear cover that protects the panels, it has indentations in it. And what happens is in springtime when you have pollen, the pollen's going to fill up all those little indentations. So when you go to wipe this down, you're still going to have residual pollen filling up all those little, divots in the covering. You can even see, maybe you can see it here, I'm not so sure, but I do see residual pollen dust, covering some of these. And as you do so, of course, that's going to reduce the amount of power that these panels can collect. So that's something to consider when you get these kinds of solar generators, is to have the right kind of cleaning equipment. A simple rag won't be enough to clean all that stuff out. You're going to want to get some kind of a brush to really get in there and clean up these panels. Okay, so onto the mower itself. I want to do this update because there's a few little tricks that I figured out to make this thing work better. And one of the problems I was having with this mower is that as it was going around this yard, often, maybe let's say about half the time, if not more, it would get stuck on this side and it would run out of battery before making it back to the charge station. The reason for that is because I have all these little rocks here in the yard and this tree, and I set up the boundary wire to go up against the wall, and then along this here, and then around this obstacle here and over here. So basically that means this area is one pocket and that area is another pocket, and that tree right there, I don't have any boundary wire there. I just rely on the bump sensor for the Automower to get around that tree. So I think what was happening was the signal coming from the charge station, the default setting is maximum, and so that's going to send this signal all the way out here somewhere. And so the mower is going to be over there and it's going to see this signal and it's going to try to get over here, but it can't because of this boundary. So it would get stuck there. I tried putting a guide wire in, so you can see right here I have a guide wire that goes around and it arcs around and it goes right over there to that part of the pocket, thinking that that would help the mower find its way back to the charge station when it's ready to charge. But it turns out that that didn't actually help. But what does help is to reduce the signal strength of the charge station. This is in the 315X user manual. You have to look pretty closely for it, but the signal strength is an adjustable parameter. If you go from maximum to medium to minimum, here I set it to minimum. This is about the size of the pocket, and what that does is it confines the signal to a smaller radius, so that way it's not going to get stuck over there. It's going to come over here, maybe use the guide wire, something else, and it'll see the signal here and it'll dock and it'll charge. Since I've done that, this has not run out of battery anywhere on the yard. It's always managed to dock into the charge station. So that's a good thing. The other thing is the use of this cover here to protect the battery and the transformer from the rain. It does work okay. Still, when I see that there's a rain forecast, I take the transformer out. Right here you have just the wire. I unplug the transformer from this, and I take the battery out and I put it over on my patio just to make sure that it's completely protected from the rain, because with this exposed opening here, even though the backside is protected, some rain can still splash down and hit the front side of the battery here. So just for, let's say, extra protection, I do that. And it is supposed to rain later, so that's also why I have the battery over there and the transformer put away. So that seems to work okay now. I think I have all the kinks sorted out. There were some other issues with the mower getting stuck on certain parts of the yard. The way that I laid the boundary wire down was kind of tight around this tree line here, and that's where it does get a little bit sloped. And you can see I put some rocks here because beyond this boundary it goes into like a little ditch where the tree sort of base is, and a lot of times it was getting stuck there because I put the wire too close to this edge. So rather than dig it all up and then, you know, reroute the wire, I just took some rocks and I put them in here so that the bump sensor would, you know, detect that and would back away. So I think I have enough stones in the right places. There's 3 over there. There's another one over there because it did get stuck there once. And overall, it is pretty well sorted out. So a few things there: the charge-based signal strength, the use of stones to sort of block off certain sections. And the reason I mention that is because when you route the boundary wire, you know, you're going to tend to route it kind of tight. And so even if you do, you know, dig it up or unstaple it and try to move it, you might not have that much slack to be able to adjust the wire. So if it's in a little spot like that, you can just take some rocks or whatever and put them down and it's fine. So this is really great. I'm happy with it. Saves me a lot of effort instead of having to pick up the lawnmower over this wall and do this whole thing manually. That really sucked. So anyway, just a little update on how I am now using my 315X, and I thought you guys would be interested in that. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching.